Hello, my name is Tony. I was up early this morning and I was looking on the internet, on social media, and a lot of times I come across political posts, and some of them are pretty right, straightforward, in your face. And it just kind of triggered me a little bit this morning, just the stress of just reading some posts, and I'm like, do I really need this stress in my life right now? I mean, I work a full time job. Within 2 years of retiring, if you don't know my story, at the end of the video, click on the link and I'll tell you a little bit about my journey here in my last 2 years before I retire. But I wanted to just kind of share some of my feelings on the connection between politics and stress. Again, understanding why this relationship between the two matters because honestly, we have enough stress in our personal lives, don't we? I mean, I am of no shortage of stress just by dealing with, everyday issues with people, with car issues from time to time, which are absolutely the worst things to deal with when your car is not working. But we got enough stress as it is, and I just think by adding more to our plate or on our plate of our emotional plate and our mental plate, I think it just really can affect our overall mood and our satisfaction with life. So I just made some notes as I was sitting down this morning drinking my coffee. Uh, and here are some of the things that I just kind of like to get off of my mind, and maybe you also feel the same way about political pressures and posts. But anyways, so how political opinions influence stress. Emotional investments in political beliefs can be like an emotional attachment. All right. So I'm very opinionated. I do keep up on the news and I do read. I know what's going on in the world, but I don't emotionally attach myself to it. Number one is it's something that I can't change. All right, I can get mad at the president for what he's doing. I can be mad at this politician, but really the only control I have at the end of the day is the voting booth. And then when the election is decided, whether it goes my way or not, I have no control over that. I have absolutely no control over that. So I try not to get emotionally attached to political beliefs. Again, I am highly opinionated in some things, and if you were to sit down with me and have a talk with me, I would tell you if you asked me. Some things I don't think are that important. Other things really matter to me. So another thing is our political identities and our social belongings, the people that we gather with, uh, the identity that we carry. I always consider myself to be an independent. I don't like to be identified by either political party. Um, so I always identify as an independent. I think a lot of times when you pick sides, especially me being a Christian, you can cut off a whole lot of people from your life that don't think like you. And I don't want to, something I don't want to deal with right now at this point in my life. Did I earlier on? Yeah, I did. I got involved in quite a few political things online with arguments and stuff like that. But I just don't do it anymore. I just don't. It's to me, it's not a stress that I need. Um, so that can, just getting online and watching news all the time or going through your social media gives you an exposure to political conflict and negativity. I pull up posts and I'm like, man, this is so negative. It's like, but there's always another side to this story. And I think a lot of times when we develop political identity and we're exposed to political conflict and negativity, it's not healthy. it's just not a healthy place to be, and I don't really want to deal in political negativity. So I pick my battles. I think that's the best way to put it. Is I pick my battles. There is a Bible verse which I try to live by. And I don't have it written down right now. It just came to my mind, but it's basically try to live peaceably with all men. You know, just try to live in peace with everybody that you can, if it's possible. So that's kind of been a thing. That's kind of been my motto for probably the last 2 years, anyways. Is just picking my battles and not getting emotionally involved, attached, and exposure to political negativity, things like that. It just starts to really wear on you. And I look at people like Rosie O'Donnell and people like that have moved out of our country. And when if something of hers comes up on my video feed, I'll watch it for a little bit, and I'm like, man, she really is emotionally distressed because of her hatred for our current president. And I'm like, that's just not healthy. It's like, why are you so emotionally involved in something you have no control over? So, anyways, that's just something that I've kind of come to the conclusion to in the last couple of years. There is some psychological mechanisms behind political beliefs and stress. Some of those can be like cognitive dissonance. I was thinking about that from conflicting information. So a lot of times we can get this dissonance going in our mind because, if you get online and you watch the news and you happen to watch both sides of the news, which I think there's a website that actually gives you both sides. I think it's groundbreaking news or something like that, but you can actually read both sides. And you read and you get two different stories, and that starts to produce cognitive dissonance in you. And that does one of two things. It either will cause you to think critically or it will cause you to pick a side. So I would rather fault on the side of thinking critically. And, you know, because I don't want to be politically fooled. I don't want to just believe everything that my side says is true. And so I just kind of let those things go. Negative thoughts and worries on political issues. Just being in a mindset all the time of, oh my gosh, things are just so bad, and you get this negativity going on in your mind, and it does affect your emotional well-being. You begin to worry about things. One thing that I kept hearing over and over in the last probably 6 to 8 years is threat to democracy. That famous tagline, it's a threat to democracy. And we get all worried because we think, oh my gosh, if something doesn't go this way, it's a threat to our democracy and we're not going to have it anymore. The United States is not going to be here anymore. Our government's going to dissolve, blah, 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 blah. Look, I've been around for 61 years. Nothing's changed much. Okay. Things seem to have a way of working themselves out in the political system. And I just leave it at that. So, social media's role in amplifying that stress has played a big part, especially in the last couple of elections. Just, man, people get their news from memes, stuff like that. As information gets passed around, it begins to trigger people. Just the amplification of that stress, and it's like, I don't need that. I don't need that physical and emotional uh, exhaustion. I would call it just being exhausted emotionally and physically from those things. So I try to just stay away from that. There is some research findings. You can Google it. I did this morning, and I didn't pull up all the research, but if you Google like stress linked to political ideologies or anything like that, man, a lot of stuff comes up. I mean, they talk about, the research shows that there's a direct level between stress and a strong partisan identity. So I try to just stay away from those things because of that very reason. And the research is there. It's there. Google it. Uh, the research is there also on the impact of negative political news and anxiety and depression. So, negative political news has an effect on your anxiety, and it can also lead to some depression, because when you're constantly being told, woe is me, the world's going to end, you begin to believe that over and over and over. Uh, it messes with you, man. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and the research is out there. Like I say again, Google it. You can pull up. There's just a lot of stuff that comes up. And then, kind of lastly, is political disagreements affecting your personal relationships. Um, a lot of times at work, I don't get in political discussions because I don't want it to affect my relationship with the person at work that I work with. Some things are just not worth arguing about. I don't care. I have my opinion on it. You have your opinion on it. I'm probably not going to change your mind unless I have a really, really good explanation of what I believe. Other than that, it's not worth it. It's not worth um, just always being disagreeable all the time. And the research does show that political ideology and worshiping that as an idol does affect your personal relationships. I've talked to at least, well, lately I talked to one guy. He says, I lost my best friend over political disagreements because they're both emotionally charged on one end of the spectrum, and my friends on this end of the spectrum, and they just put too much emphasis on politics. Is it important? Is politics important? Yes, yeah, it is. It's it kind of dictates how we live our lives. I mean, just look at toilets and only being able to flush a gallon down a toilet. I mean, those things affect us. Regulations affect our lives. Yes. Can I do anything about it? Nope. Nope, I can't do anything about it. So I just let it go. I let it go, and I vote. I believe in voting. I believe our vote counts, and that's what we do, right? So we don't need the stress, man. Come on. I mean, we all work, and if you're still working like me, I mean, we work a job. There's enough stress there. If you're married, there's enough stress in that. If you have kids, there's stress in that. If you own a vehicle, there's stress in that. If you own a house, there's stress in that. Why do we need more stress? So, anyways, I hope this kind of helped. It kind of helped me process some things this morning, and hopefully it will help you too. And again, I'm on this journey. I'm within 2 years of retiring, so I'm really just trying to manage my stress levels right now. Just trying to hang in there till the end. If you ever watch any of my other videos, you'll hear me say all the time, I love my job, but I love my weekends more. So, anyways, please subscribe to this channel, like the video. At the end, there's a link. If you want to know exactly what this channel is about, click that link. It's just basically my introduction video on what I wanted to accomplish here. But I hope you enjoyed just listening to me rant and talk. Yeah, by the way, if you look in the background there, I live in Michigan, so it's like 30 degrees with a feel like temperature of 22 this morning. So I did get a nice little wood fire going, and it feels good. So feels nice and homey. Anyways, God bless you, and we'll see you on the next video.